Good morning, folks, and welcome to The Wicked Truth. Today is a special day. We're going to start the second fast, and I'm going to show you all the books that I just bought on my recent trip to India where we watched the IPL. The IPL is the Indian Premier League. I think that's what it's called. It's amazing. You guys got to go to India. Banglore, watching the I forgot what they're called now, even though I'm their fans, the Banglore team, the Royal Challengers, is amazing. And I want you to all come down and watch the cricket in India, in Bangalore. It's just superb. Anyway, saying that, today I'm going to start my fast. I actually started this morning, but at home, unfortunately, they did the usual routine. They made some bulletproof coffee, which I haven't drunk in 2 weeks, but I was drinking in India. So, okay, I'm going to have the coffee this morning. Here's my green juice. It has just vegetables in there, spinach, broccoli, cucumber, etc. So very little sugar, and 2 eggs. So that's what I'm going to eat now, and you're going to join me in just a minute after I eat it. Take care. Egg number 1. Feels good. It's going to be my last meal till Friday. It's Tuesday morning here in Dubai, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, start on Friday again. Alright, see you in a second. Now, the regular book splurge is a very wicked thing to do. It makes you feel great and you get a lot of good material. So this time, while I was out in Bangalore, I decided to go to Church Street. Church Street has some of the best bookshops in all of India, in all of the world, I'd say. The bookshops are generally very old and they've got books stacked everywhere, just like you used to see in the old days. It's not a neat shop, there's just books stacked from ceiling to floor, every wall, the middle as well. And these are how the books are. My favorite one is Blossom, but there's loads of bookshops down there. And I want to just show you what I got in no particular order. Josh, if you're watching this, some of the books in here I'm going to be sending to you. So I'll need your address soon. Okay, so the first one is The Penguin History of Latin America by Edward Williamson. Now, I really want to go and explore South America, especially Peru, Colombia, some of the Brazilian rainforests, etc. I've been to Argentina about 10 years ago. So I thought that this may be just the right kind of book to get through before I get down there. I don't think I'm going to get down there for at least a year, so I have a year to read that book. Second book is called The Magic Feather Effect. This particular book, written by Melanie Warner, I have no idea what it's really about. I just read the sentence at the front, just the subtitle, and I bought the book. I do that quite often. I just buy books. So this is called The Science of Alternative Medicine and the Surprising Power of Belief. Sounds right up my street. Next book is Jewel in the Lotus. I haven't read this book, but I've heard of Shri M, and this book's for Josh, but I might have a quick browse through it just to make sure it's the right kind of book for him. Now, how to read a book. The number of books I read and the speed at which I read them, which is actually decreasing over time. I'm not actually getting any faster. I found that reading slower is actually more enjoyable. But this is really about different techniques for reading books. Just thought it might be useful for a man like me who reads that many books. This one I started reading in the airport. It's called The Source. It's about opening your mind and changing your life. It's written by Dr. Tara Swart, and I've just started the introduction and it's sounding pretty good at the moment. I'm not going to review it too much, but it's a pretty easy read. Might be worth considering. I've just got a few pages in and I like it. The Secrets of Tantric Buddhism. I've started getting into Tantra, understanding ecstasy and enlightenment. Tantra is a very interesting form of, or interesting philosophy, which we will get to after I read the book. Then finally, not finally, but I got Secrets of the Soil. This particular book is by Peter Tompkins and Christopher Bird. There they are. It's all about the secret life of plants. It's a companion to that particular book. And it just goes into, I guess, soil. I don't know too much about the soil, so I thought that might be an interesting one. Another one for Josh. Swami Dayananda he just passed away not so long ago. He was a very famous guru, teacher here in India. My uncle is a big follower of his. And it's Vedanta is an Indian philosophy in Hinduism. It's a particular type of philosophy which is very prominent, which I think Josh will enjoy. Then there's Mind the Gap, which I'm considering who to give it to, probably Josh as well. It's by Shukshmananda Swami. I haven't read this either, so I'm going to browse this first before I pass it to you. Then we have the Panchatantra, which is translated from Sanskrit by Arthur W. Ryder. The Panchatantra contains the most widely known stories in the world. In fact, it is universally acknowledged as the best collection of stories known to civilized man. So there we go. I've read a lot of these stories as comics as a child. It'll be interesting to see how the original was translated into English, obviously, how they go. Then the next book I've got is Justin O'Brien's Super Conscious Meditation. So, no idea what that's about. That's why I got the book. This one's an odd one out in the bunch. This is called The Golant's Book of South Asian Science Fiction. I've always been a science fiction fan, and I thought this one sounds really good at the back. On an ordinary morning, the citizens of Karachi wake up to discover the sea is missing from their shores. So that sounds interesting. So now we'll go on to the second bag. So that was just the first bag of 3. The second bag, I'm going to empty it so we don't have to hear the bag all the time. So this is Indian Philosophy Volume 1. It's a pretty thick book. I haven't read it before. I got it for Josh, but I may have to relent in sending it to you on this particular trip until I figure out whether it's actually a good book. This one, How Yoga Works. Wonderful. I'm about page 160 of 400. So just under halfway through this book. I bought this in Kinokuniya in the bookshop before actually heading down to India. I took it with me to India and I brought it back without reading it. But it's excellent. Wow. By Geshe Michael Roach. Everyone should get this book. This one's great. This one's for Josh. It's The Essential Vivekananda. I once had a 9-volume copy of all his works, which I read when I was about 15 years old. It changed my life. This one's for Josh. This one's a novel. It's called The Binding. Pure magic, it says on the back. A kind of immersive storytelling that makes you forget your own name. I wish I'd written it, by Aaron Kelly. Spellblinding, utterly brilliant. It's by Bridget Collins. No idea if I'll even read it. There we go. Now, this is part of my reading material for a college that I joined in London. I have read the Bhagavad Gita a few times in different versions. This one is a famous one by the Hare Krishna Guru, Prabhupada. And he wrote this particular book. Wow, I spilled water everywhere. Now that was a disaster. I just spilled about 2 liters of water on my new books. Okay, so the next one I got is The Secret of the Jyotish Gems. It's about gemology in India, about how different gems have different effects, I guess. I'm not sure how much I believe in all of that stuff, but I'm interested to find out what it has to say. This one is another one for Josh. It's about Krishna, yoga and teachings. But I'm gonna have to do a quick recon before I send that to you. This one is an interesting historical book, The Ivory Throne. It was recommended to me by the book seller, the guy at the store. It's in 1498 and it's set in Kerala, so that's going to be interesting. Another history one, early Indians. If you really want to know who we are and how we got here, this is the book for you. So I'm hoping that it's going to be good. And lastly, this is volume 2 of that thick book on Indian philosophy, which I'm going to read before I send it to you, Josh. So that's it. That's the book splurge. The time now is currently 10:18. I have finished my foods. So I'm going to count 10:30 as the beginning of the fast. And on Friday morning, we're going to meet right here and perhaps sometime in between if I feel there's something necessary to stay. But essentially, I'm going for another 72-hour fast. Nothing but snake juice, which is nothing but electrolytes. You can see some of my earlier videos about the composition of those electrolytes. And see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.